Why'd I get mixed up with that bitch?
Because she got a great ass! And you got your head all the way up it!
Hands down, the best quote of the movie, without a doubt. Heat is a crime drama directed by Michael Mann and stars Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. The story follows professional robber Neil McCauley and policeman Vincent Hanna, as Vincent makes it his mission to track down Neil after Neil and his crew do a heist that leaves 3 security guards dead. So, just to give you guys a heads up, there will be spoilers in this review, so that's your warning. A quick reminder that if you enjoy my movie reviews, hit the like and subscribe buttons, and be sure to hit the notification bell to keep up to date with the latest content. While most people focus on the action set pieces of this movie, which I will get to shortly, what makes Heat such a great movie in my eyes is the acting from Al Pacino and Robert De Niro. Starting with Pacino's character, Vincent, his passion for taking down criminals plays a huge role in who he is as a person. I liked how his focus towards this goal affects his personal life, namely his relationship with his estranged wife and his stepdaughter. You get the sense that Vincent is a weary character who's experienced so much negativity that naturally comes from being a homicide cop that makes him more than your average chasing the bad guy's policeman. The conversations that Vincent has with his wife and with Neil perfectly capture this point, as the crap that he deals with every day as a homicide cop, coupled with chasing criminals like Neil, they really hit home the fact that he's unable to live a life outside of his work. Neil McCauley, on the other hand, suffers a lonely existence, going from heist to heist, obtaining large amounts of money, but with no end goal in sight. Once Neil meets Edie, played by Amy Brenneman, his character opens up in a way that he hadn't previously up until that point in his life, and makes his character that much more interesting as a result. Robert De Niro plays Neil with such a cool, laid-back presence, and a sophistication as well, as it provides a nice counterbalance to the often loud, bravado personality of Vincent's character. I totally believed that Neil was at the top of his game as a professional robber, as despite the elaborate heists that he and his crew carry out, you never got the impression that the police were going to catch them at any point, as this largely comes down to De Niro's commanding presence on screen. Normally in a crime drama flick, the suspense comes from whether or not the criminals will make it out alive or not. And while that's true to a large extent in this movie, the tension for me came from Neil and his crew endangering the lives of innocent civilians every time they carried out a heist, and whether or not they're going to make it out alive or not. This decision from Michael Mann, who both penned the script and directed the movie, was a refreshing one, as we don't often get to see the full impact that criminals have on everyday people in these genre pieces. Talking about Heat without mentioning the direction and the action is as much of a crime as the one that Neil and his crew carries out in the movie. Michael Mann directs the hell out of Heat, with his decision to shoot the entire movie on location paying off massively. Mann opts for a slow pace for the bulk of the movie's runtime, and for the most part, it works pretty well. The psychological insights into Vincent and Neil's characters benefit greatly from this methodical pace, as I was able to really appreciate the love and passion that they have for their jobs, as well as appreciating the isolation and struggles that they have when not being able to live a life outside of their work. The slow pace also allows Mann to underline the central conflict of Vincent's pursuit of Neil, as well as allowing these characters to go beyond the stereotypes and tropes that come from a movie about cops and robbers. While I know countless critics and audiences have analysed the diner scene between Pacino and De Niro to the nth degree, the best way to look at it is from a personal standpoint when reviewing this movie. I remember when I saw Heat for the first time, I was surprised by the lack of interactions between Vincent and Neil, as these crime drama movies, they tend to have at least a few interactions between the hero and the villain before their final showdown. But Michael Mann delays the moment when these characters meet each other, which makes the scene that much more memorable. It's character interactions such as this scene that separates Heat from your average crime movie, and allows me to really empathise with both characters, despite their differing ideologies. Though there were only a handful of action scenes in this movie, the standout one has to be the downtown sequence between Vincent's police squad and Neil's crew. Michael Mann and cinematographer Dante Spinotti capture a clear sense of geography, as Vincent and his squad, as well as the other police officers, are positioned on either side of the street, as Neil and his crew are wedged in the middle of a chaotic, bloody shootout. This planning and preparation that Mann and his production crew put into the sequence makes the whole thing tense and engaging from start to finish. The only major negative I had with this movie is the slow pace that comes and goes throughout the movie, namely when Neil and his crew do the planning and prep into their next heists, as well as when Vincent and his squad do the procedural investigative work into Neil's crew. It doesn't really add much in the way of entertainment for me, and it felt like Michael Mann was just adding these scenes to add to the realistic tone of the movie. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed Heat, as it's got great performances from Al Pacino and Robert De Niro, a really compelling story with a great central conflict, masterful direction from Michael Mann, and one of the best action scenes not only of the 90s but of all time as well, as despite a few issues with pacing, I'm going to give Heat an 8.5 out of 10. So I now hand it over to you guys, as I want to hear your thoughts on whether or not you enjoyed Heat, and do you think this is Michael Mann's best movie? So I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and as always, I'll see you on the next one.